very warm welcome to Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. As you know, another cricket series is about to happen, Australia versus Sri Lanka. Now that's happening on the 26th of July at Pallekelle. Now the Sri Lankans have come up with a very, very interesting squad. They've left out some experienced players, they've retained more or less the majority of the team that went to England, but they've come up with 5 new players. Now, Dhananjay De Silva, Roshane Silva, Vishwa Fernando, Asitha Fernando and Lakshan Sandakan. Now, these are the 5 names that the selectors have thrown into the equation. Roshane Silva, Dhananjay De Silva. Now, these two are the ones who are running very closely for a test spot. Well, will it be at number 4 or number 6 that the Sri Lankans are looking to try and blood them in? Now, interestingly, what will Dinesh Chandimal's role be? Is he going to keep wickets, or is he going to play as a batsman, or is Kusal Perera going to play as a batsman and bat at 7? Now, these are some interesting questions that the selectors will be obviously looking at. Now, my concern is whether Dinesh Chandimal should be batting at 4 and also keeping wickets. One of the reasons why Kumar Sangakkara decided to give up his gloves was because he was batting up the order. So unless and otherwise Chandimal decides to bat at 6, then are we going to play a pure batsman of the caliber of Kusal Perera free of gloves at number 7? Now these are questions that the selectors will obviously solve come the test match. And then the next question is, who will bat at 4? If Chandimal is going to bat at 4 and not keep wickets, obviously number 6 will be the place that the selectors will be looking at. In that context, I guess Roshane Silva might be a front runner because he's more a middle order batsman, number 5, 6. But if you're looking at a number 4 batsman, then Dhananjay De Silva being an opening batsman might just get the nod. Now it's an interesting thing, both players extremely good. In fairness to Roshane Silva, I think he has a magnificent first class average, over 50 runs an innings, and has a lot of experience, has been tapping on the door, had a good 18 tour, and I'm sure all of us are delighted, everyone watching, the fans are delighted to have someone like him in the squad. So the Sri Lankans looking for some new blood, and let's hope they'll come through in this test match. Also Sandakan, interesting selection, left-arm Chinaman bowler. I'm not very sure whether the selectors will want to play 2 left-arm spinners. Of course, they're different left-arm spinners, Rangana Herath and Sandakan. I would go with Dilruwan Perera and Rangana Herath simply for the balance. And in terms of fast bowling, I think they'll go with Vishwa Fernando, giving him a debut, because one thing is Suranga Lakmal may be carrying just that little niggle, and also Nuwan Pradeep now, the spearhead of Sri Lanka, and Suranga Lakmal, they look very similar type of bowlers, so you need a little bit of variety. So my probable side is we'll have Vishwa Fernando opening the bowling with Nuwan Pradeep. Dilruwan Perera should come back as the second spinner. It's a toss-up between Dhananjay De Silva and Roshane Silva. Depends on where Dinesh Chandimal will be batting. So lots of interesting thoughts, but the important thing for Sri Lanka is to do well and to compete at Asgiria. Now, also Australia, what will their strategy be? Now, O'Keefe started off the 3-day game very well, had 5 wickets, but Lyon went for plenty of runs in the first innings against a rather inexperienced board 11. But I don't think that will deter the Australian selectors from keeping Lyon out, because he's the most experienced spin bowler. Very fine off spinner he is on his day. And when you consider the possible conditions that the Australians will encounter in Pallekelle, definitely not pace. They're not going to give them green seeming conditions, but it might be the dry surface, win the toss, bat first kind of pitch. And also Pallekelle, as you know, is in the driest area of the Central Province. So you'll be looking to have more dry pitches. So you'll be looking to try and depend a lot on your spinners. So the Australians will most probably go with O'Keefe and Lyon and just limit themselves to 2 fast bowlers. And also, from an Australian point of view, they don't have a great amount of experience playing in Sri Lanka. Just Kavaja, Sean Marsh and Lyon has played cricket in Sri Lanka. So that also could be an issue that the Sri Lankans will want to work on, because the majority of the Australians, though they have coped with conditions similar to what they will encounter in Sri Lanka, they're all very new and haven't really played cricket in Sri Lanka. So Australia, of course, the number 1 side, top test team, but playing in I wouldn't want to call it alien conditions, but playing in conditions that they are not very used to. Sri Lanka, on the other hand, playing at home, but playing a young and an inexperienced side. Now, this young and inexperienced seem to be the tag that the Sri Lankans are continuously carrying. Now, this is a legacy of the transformation or what we've been talking about with the major players retiring. So the Sri Lankans still looking for that right balance. So let's hope some of these players who have been picked will provide that balance that the Sri Lankans want. Well, I spoke about the conditions in Pallekelle. I expect it to be dry. I expect it to spin. I expect the captain winning the toss to definitely bat first. Finally, it's a battle. And the battle the Sri Lankans want to win to keep their cricketing status alive. Well, there have been lots of talks about two-tier systems and you know, the top 4 teams playing against each other and the bottom tier playing against each other. That's going to be a massive problem financially and otherwise for the teams in the second tier. So for the sake, I mean, though it's not still confirmed, few countries like the idea, Sri Lankans don't. But in order to keep their cricketing status alive, they need to perform well against Australia. And I'm sure that's the plan of Angelo Matthews and the rest of the team, and of course the management of the Sri Lankan team. Finally, now I know you'll be very keen to try and follow the Sri Lankan fortunes and what happens in this test series. So you can join us at the end of each day. You can log on to ThePapare.com and listen to the Cricket Tree, where we will be discussing and analysing each day's play and possibly what might the teams have as they look ahead for the next day. So that's it on Around the Wickets on ThePapare.com. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll come back again very, very soon. Until then, it's goodbye.